Hey there, it's Rose welcoming you to an enthralling exploration of the Book of the Dead. Journey with us as we unravel the mysteries behind this ancient Egyptian collection of funerary texts that guided souls through the afterlife. Welcome, history enthusiasts, to a voyage into the heart of ancient Egyptian beliefs and practices. Today, we're delving into the captivating Book of the Dead, a guide that paved the way for the deceased into the realms beyond. Let's begin by understanding what the Book of the Dead truly is. A compilation of spells and instructions, this sacred text held the key to a successful journey through the afterlife. It was carefully inscribed in hieroglyphs on papyrus scrolls and placed in the coffins alongside other vital funerary objects. These spells weren't mere words. They were potent tools to navigate the dangers of the beyond and secure passage to the Egyptian paradise known as the Field of Reeds. Now, the Book of the Dead wasn't a one-size-fits-all script. With 192 chapters or spells, it covered a vast array of topics, from protection against malevolent forces to the ability to commune with the gods and even transform into various animals. This text was a comprehensive guide to the afterlife. Over time, this collection of wisdom evolved. Spells were gathered from religious texts, magical incantations, and folklore, resulting in a dynamic guide that adapted to changing beliefs and practices. The allure of the Book of the Dead transcended social classes. Not limited to pharaohs or the wealthy, it was accessible to ordinary Egyptians. This text was a staple in the funerary process, an assurance of a safe journey beyond life's boundaries. For more than a millennium, the Book of the Dead remained an integral part of Egyptian culture. Its relevance spanned generations, offering solace and guidance to souls seeking passage into the next realm. The Book of the Dead prevails in both popular culture and current scholarship as one of the most famous aspects of ancient Egyptian culture. This funerary text provides some of the most vivid and enduring images from the ancient world. There are few who have not heard some version of the Book of the Dead's afterlife mythology. Familiar scenes, like a scale weighing the heart of the deceased against a feather, or the eternal destruction of a soul by a deity composed of animal parts, originate from the Book of the Dead. With such impressive narratives, it is clear why Egyptian beliefs about the afterlife are so thoroughly ingrained in our collective memory. But despite the Book of the Dead's lasting fame, it is often misunderstood or purposefully romanticized for the sake of an exhilarating story, as in the cultural phenomenon of The Mummy in 1999. So what is the Book of the Dead? How was it significant to Egyptians in the past? And how do Egyptologists use this important resource today? The chapter's book of Going Forth by Day is the official translation of the title given to a collection of papyrus rolls on the same subject, known commonly as the Book of the Dead. Though the word book brings to mind a story or text written by a singular author and reprinted repeatedly in the same form, these texts have multiple authors, and each version has its own variations. These texts served as a guide for the dead to use on their journeys to the afterlife. Each was prepared by scribes for burials, with varying quality depending on the scribe's skill, and some were prepared with blank spaces to later fill in the name of the dead. In addition to the long-form papyrus versions of the Book of the Dead, spells and passages from the text were recorded in other places, on tomb walls, mummy wrappings, and even inside King Tut's golden mask. The Book of the Dead first appeared in the New Kingdom, but the text evolved from a long tradition of magical funerary writing. The oldest of these writings, the pyramid texts, were available exclusively to Egyptian royalty. As religious beliefs on the afterlife changed, copies of the coffin texts, an adapted version of the pyramid texts, were written on coffins and included in the tombs of non-royals, such as wealthy Egyptians and elites. By the New Kingdom, the afterlife was understood as accessible to all who could afford their own Book of the Dead, a handy guidebook providing the spells necessary for the perilous, confusing, and elaborate trials faced to earn eternal life among the gods. The gods Osiris, associated with resurrection, and Re, associated with the sun, star in the Book of the Dead. 42 additional gods appear to judge and test the newly departed. Although the text itself varies in content and order, the narrative is generally divided into 4 main sections. The deceased enters the underworld and regains the physical abilities of the living. The deceased is resurrected and joins Re to rise as the sun each day. The deceased travels across the sky before judgment in the underworld by a panel of gods. And, finally, assuming the soul hasn't been destroyed, the deceased join the gods. To progress through the complex challenges in these stages, the dead must speak the right names and spells at the right time and respond with the right answers to the gods' questions. In one interesting and curious case, the deceased must name various parts of a sentient doorway before passing. Luckily, the Book of the Dead conveniently holds all the required information. These texts were certainly important to ancient Egyptians, and now they constitute one of the most important resources for Egyptologists hoping to understand the Egyptian religion and the afterlife. In addition to explicitly describing the afterlife and the roles of the gods, the Book of the Dead also gives insight into important concepts like the Ka and Ba, aspects of the soul believed to live on after death. The Ka needed a physical form to return to in order to exist, and so the Book of the Dead helps us to understand the importance of the well-known Egyptian practice of mummification. Similarly, the Book of the Dead also contains spells for preserving specific parts of the body and the spell for the opening of the mouth ceremony, a ritual performed before the mummy was sealed in its tomb, often depicted in tomb decoration. The Book of the Dead reveals central aspects of the ancient Egyptians' belief system, and like many topics in Egyptology, our theories are constantly changing, growing, and adapting with every new translation of this text. As we conclude our expedition into the Book of the Dead, we're reminded of its enduring legacy. Although abandoned with the rise of Christianity, this ancient guide continues to captivate modern minds. Its chapters are a portal to the past, shedding light on ancient Egyptian perspectives on death, the afterlife, and the unknown. If you've been captivated by the journey we've embarked upon today, a simple gesture like comment and subscription would mean the world. Join us in exploring more captivating tales from history's archives.